for once, it wasn't us gifting the opposition goals, which was great. Palace had a stinker. We're through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. 2-1 the final score at Selhurst Park. Jacob, you were there yesterday. Talk to us about the game and the atmosphere from the away fans and the football. I mean, I was going to say, a win is a win, but it didn't feel like it yesterday.
No, it didn't. And as I was after the game, I was trying to write, and I was just thinking, I'm not sure how to do it, because you don't want to go overboard with the praise, but you don't want to be too critical either. It just felt one of those where Crystal Palace were really poor. The amount of times amount of passages of play where they had time to break or exploit Southampton's, two at the back, and they just didn't do it. They just looked very soft, Palace. I thought they looked soft in the previous game at Selhurst Park, and that day they won. In terms of the atmosphere, I think it was pretty clear what the atmosphere, the away fans thought in the first 20 odd or so minutes. It was very clear. I think everyone knows what they were singing. And I think there's one point, I think it was either Seletasar or Lianco who sent a long ball forward, and Gaeta just caught it. And they just boos, and I just thought this kind of sums up where Southampton are. There's a discord between fans and Nathan Jones. And it just seemed quite a miserable day, really. I know with a lot of questions still to be answered, despite Southampton getting a seemingly positive result. So, yeah, they're through now. I think it's a good opportunity for Southampton to continue. But if you probably ask Nathan Jones deep down, he could do without both cups.
And Glenn, just to try and connect with the fans afterwards and prove that he knows what he's talking about. The manager came out and said on Lianco, he feels that he's an excellent defender. Were you surprised to see him even start on Saturday after the show on Wednesday night?
Well, yeah, it's one of those ones where you see the 11 names on the team sheet and think, where on earth, who's playing right back? I assume Maitland-Niles will be on the right-hand side somewhere. But he went with a flat back four with Lianco at right back. And fair play after Lianco's had a few horror shows recently. I mean, I was reading about because he of course messed up in the Palace game in the league, didn't he? And then he's had the penalty he gave away against Fulham, and he's had the nightmare against Nottingham Forest as well. And so to see Lianco's name on the team sheet again didn't exactly fill me with confidence. But to be fair, I thought he had a good game. He got done a couple of times by Zaha, but everyone does. Kyle Walker-Peters got done when he came on as well, and had to pull him back and take a booking. But I thought Lianco did okay. I can see why he plays, because we're a team of nice boys, and he's got a bit of grunt about him, and not many have. And I thought that was useful yesterday. I thought Cheleta did the same thing as Gert. He got a booking for a horrible tackle on Elise, which in the days where they were analysing everything on VAR, that may well have been a red card, because he kind of scissored his back leg very cynically. But I thought Cheleta had a good game. I thought Lianco had a good game. He's not really an excellent defender, because he's just got too many calamities in him. And that having gone one game without having a calamity, he is due one next week.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just, but he did okay. I think Jones was in a difficult position after the game, in that I don't think he really knew what to say. I'm, as I've kind of alluded to a couple of times, I'm really not sure that second half performance was down to him. It just seems totally at odds with the way we were playing beforehand. Yeah.
Richard says, to be fair to Lianco, he did play well yesterday, so we'll give him credit where it's due. Steve, a win's a win, as we say, through to the fourth round, and the tie looks favourable as well. I mean, home to Blackpool. They had a good result against Forest, and shame it's not away, because that would be a good weekend. But it's another game we should be able to get a result in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure Blackpool away at the end of January is quite the good weekend that anybody really thinks of. But yeah,
I'd be on the beach.
It's a favourable draw, certainly. But yeah, the fact that they've gone and smashed Forest, I'm not sure what side Forest put out. I assume not a particularly strong one. But having made 475 signings in the summer, they've got a big enough squad to surely cope with these inconvenient cup games, apparently. But yeah, it's a good draw, and kind of the draw opening up a little bit, because obviously City had Chelsea today, and they'll probably be playing Arsenal in the next round. So there's big teams going to continue to get knocked out. Newcastle are obviously out, so continuing Eddie Howe's wonderful cup record. And yeah, so there's an opportunity to go deep in the competition. It's one of those where, I mean, we discussed this, didn't we, last week? Where do you want the cup to be? Is the cup a distraction, or is it something nice to have where you don't feel under quite the same pressure as in the league? But if you do well in that, then suddenly you're getting confidence for the league program. So I think given everything, I think it's a good draw for us. And yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, as long as we don't get beat by them, then I think everyone that's ultimately the long and short of it, isn't it? I mean, you look at Villa today. I mean, they were a goal up against Stevenage in League Two with a minute to go, and they've somehow contrived to lose. I mean, that's potentially a team that once they let the equaliser, it's like, well, we do not need a replay here, so just whatever. But yeah, that kind of shows how mad it can be. But it's interesting how the draws kind of pitted us against another team that we played in the 76 Cup run. Because we obviously played Blackpool in the 4th round, I think. Then
are you saying that the stars are lining up? Is this
well,
the year?
Who knows?
Get the mortgage on it, kids.
Yeah, Nathan Jones FA Cup winner. That would be.
Although Nick did, I think it was Nick Reed who
won't
pointed
be
out
here by
earlier
then.
on. He says now we've got a bona fide cup manager. Maybe we just get a league manager and go that way. And did you see that the last time we faced Blackpool in the FA Cup was this day back in 2011?
That brilliant goal by Gooley.
Yeah, Gooley
Yeah.
with the winner for 2-0, wasn't it? All right, well, that's coming up at the end of January, so we've got that to look forward to.